So finding creative ways of doing something and to make things easier for yourself. So I think for me that's my difference of, yes, you can work hard, but sometimes it's better to just work smart and find out what works for me.
And it's not clicking.
Hey,
The mouse is refusing.
technology, yeah.
The mouse is refusing. And then the person comes, touches it once. And you're like, how come I've been all this time? They just come and they press one, and it's done.
Yeah.
And we do that, especially, I'm going to look at us as women. We do that as women. We want to fight the mouse. We want to open the mouse. We want to look at...
And you're making it worse. I'm the strong, independent woman. I should never need anyone or need help. So I think it's a very sad thing right now. So I think be strong, but also be a woman.
Dumelang babogedi. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Kay. Today on studio we have the beautiful lady we met outside by our offices. So basically I'm on the other side of the office and she's on the other side, and her smile, you'll get to understand when you see her. She's a glowing woman. She is Ausi Mlady Nomzamo Ndlovu. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me. Wow, what a great introduction. Wow. That is enough to make anyone feel so special.
You are special.
Yes.
The day you said yes, okay, before you said yes. The day you said yes. Thank you so much.
No,
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I don't want to introduce you because it's not like I know her that much. Like you hear, we met outside the corridors, by the passage, and we're like, yes, we are definitely having these conversations as sisters. Who is Nomzamo Ndlovu?
Oof. Yeah, that's like, where do you even start? Well, Nomzamo Ndlovu is a young lady. I, as you said, like we work not far away from each other. I'm an attorney. I'm a child of God. I am a sister, a friend. So I don't have any kids, not married yet. So yeah, that's basically me in a very summarized version. Yeah.
What I enjoy about this podcast so far is that everyone that I ask who they are, they never hold back on mentioning that they're a child of God. And that is the beauty about this podcast. And for me, it's such a joy, because I know I don't have to struggle to have the conversations. I don't have to be thinking, oh, should I go there? Should I not go there? I'm with a child of God. I'm with my sister in Christ.
Yes.
That is
Amen.
the first thing ever. You are an attorney.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
What's the difference between attorney? There's attorney, there's lawyer. I learned recently there's other things.
I think it's just like the terms that people use. So I think lawyer, attorney, same thing.
Okay.
And then obviously then there'll be like an advocate and an attorney. But I think we basically all do law. It's just that people will choose to use different versions. But I think if as a client will probably use "you are my lawyer," but then that's for us, because in the profession we then know you either study to be an attorney or an advocate. So that's why that's the difference. But otherwise, lawyer is who we are as a collective.
Okay, but I don't want to hop into that at first. Yes, because you are a child of God.
Yeah.
So when you say you are a child of God,
Yes.
who is Nomzamo as a child of God? What do you mean you're a child of God?
I mean that, there was a time in my life where the truth was revealed to me. And then it was a decision of, wow, I have a father who loves me. So a revelation of, wow, this is so amazing. I actually have a father who loves me. And me then choosing to go on a journey of finding out more of who God is in my life, and just learning more about the walk of being a child of God and the things like that. So yeah, that's basically for me. Just they call it being born again. So it's that time when you hear the truth and you accept the truth and you internalize it to say, okay, what does this mean for me? Now that I've been told that, God loves me, God is for me, how do I then react to that, or how do I rise up to that? So I think it was that realization that actually, you know what, this is amazing. Because I think at that time it was also a time of brokenness, where you just, life you're living life, but you just don't know whether, you
it's
don't
going,
know,
it's coming, it's going through,
it's all over. It's all over. So, it's a time where you're like, actually, no. This is a journey that I want to embark on. So it's not an easy journey, but I mean, it's that accepting what's Nkulunkulu loves me, and I also want to rise up to this relationship. So yeah,
I really love what you said, like it's called being born again. Like you mentioned everything, then you said it's called being born again.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing that, most of the time when people hear the term born again, and I know, yes, there's other people that have lied to people in the name of being born again. Is it not amazing that being born again is simply that what you just explained, accepting the truth.
Accepting the truth, yeah.
Accepting the truth.
That's it, yeah. Accepting the truth and moving with the knowledge of that truth. So that's basically it. Because obviously, it's also it's a process then of the renewing of the mind, of of understanding the what God says about you. So that is always in the journey now. From that time on, it's a continuation of you walking in that knowledge, and then learning the truth, and then internalizing it and learning. And so I think so it's basically you renewing your mind, becoming which means you become a new person. And when I'm saying new, you are still be nomzamo.
Yes.
But new in the sense that you move a certain way. You move a certain way as soon as you have learned that truth. It's not an easy journey.
Yeah.
Never is, but but that's basically just what it is. Yeah.
I'm going to tap back into, like, for example, you are in the field of law. We take that into being born again. I want to take that, like, there's a truth involved. The law is about truth. The truth has to be prevailed. There has to come to what? To stand. There has to be truth. And the truth is the one that everyone should go with. So how would you compare? And I know I'm putting you on the spot there. Like, as a lawyer, like as a person who's in law, like how would you compare that, put that into like the truth that we receive as being born again? How can the two relate?
So in the sense of so that I'm just making sure that I'm understanding the question correctly. So in the sense of maybe like ethically, how do I move in the space of my work, in like knowing the ethics of what God like expects from me?
We will come there. So let me rephrase. For example, we will come there, but I like that. Thank you that you asked yourself that question. We will come there, because that's one I want to take. Like, for example, you are in law, and there's truth, and the truth has to stand.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah.
So now you are a Christian. And the truth has to stand. The truth has to stand.
Yeah.
So if you are talking to me, let's say, for example, I'm not saved, and and you were to give me an example and using law, for example, and saying this is how things should be done. I know that sometimes we take the truth and we're like, but I'm born again, I love Jesus. And then what you were saying, like, I don't have to, we're not thinking about being renewed. It's the truth. The renewal part of it, the journey is the truth, is part of the truth. So how can you relate like that, use the law terminology or whatever, like
to say what the truth is. So basically, in law, I always feel like we always try to, I think, let me just talk about maybe like my line of work.
Okay.
So in my line of work, the main thing that we try to do when we have, let's just say, like disputes with people, or disputes between two people, the important thing for us that we always want to do is engage in like mediation between the two parties, so that we reach a place where these two people are in good standing with each other. So I think that is very important in the sense that, you know, we want people to, you know, to have, you know, even if it's different relations, you know, different disagreements or whatever, but at the end of the day, there always has to be like a coming together of minds to reach a level of what is the main truth and how are we going to reach this truth and move forward so that both parties are in a good space after the interaction. I'm not sure if I'm even like...
No, you are. I'm picking up
sense.
I'm picking up a lot of like I'm picking up a lot of things like as you're talking, because you are talking about like two people and coming
together of two minds.
Coming together of two minds, and that's the call. Like as you are talking, like I'm thinking of God saying, "Come, let us reason together." That's what He's saying. I think sometimes the reason I was asking you to do that, people can be thinking that, oh, you are in law. You know, they say lawyers are liars. People like saying that. So I didn't want to put that in your mouth as yet. Do you understand? In your words, like in your tongue as yet. So I wanted you to explain it so that when we come back there, then we can see that not all lawyers are liars. So there has to be that standing, that right standing. Like there can be like differences. I mean, you and I may have differences. But what is the truth?
What is the truth?
The foundation has to be
the
foundation has to be the truth. And I think if, like, for example, I love that the way you mentioned, like in your line of work, we can't separate that from who you are as a Christian.
You really can't.
We use these things, like when we go out, we use who we are in Christ in the field of work. So I wanted you to explain it. I just didn't know how to phrase it in a question. I actually thought of it.
I was like, I hope I'm like saying
no, you actually said the right thing, because I think of that and I'm thinking people that are in your field, we have a way of, I don't know if it's for the lack of better word, we don't trust. Like it's like, okay, lawyers are liars so that they can get what they want at the end of the day. It's like you're not here to solve the situation.
You're just here.
That's why you have. When I think of that, I'm thinking of how we pointed God and we're like, if He's a God of love, why is this and this happening in my life? You understand? So I think of such scenarios. So I wanted you to come in before I even say anything. I love the points that you mentioned, and it's about us, like the right standing. You mentioned right standing, and as a child of God and as a woman. As
even
a child
better,
of God,
which is a woman,
a
child of God and a woman, which is great.
Which
is two combinations which are amazing.
Oh, please talk about that. Talk about that combination.
I think just as a woman, I mean, it's you know, we are in a time, you know, where women are just like so empowered. We're empowered. We are literally in Bogota. We can literally do anything. So we have so many opportunities to infiltrate different spaces to make a difference as women. You know, I always say, like, women, we like the womb, man, because we give life. So our lives are, you know, I mean, it's great. We are. So I think being a woman for me is a great thing. I think I'm grateful that I was born a woman.
I love that.
Because, you know, women can make so much change in the world. So I think for me, I'm just happy that as a woman and a child of God, it's so powerful to be those two things in a time like this, because you know there's so much impact that we can do as women and as women of God as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
I like that. So, for example, take us into you being a woman. You are working. And then you are a woman, you have a church that you serve in. And in as much as, let's say right now you are single, there is a family. There is what do you call it, an extended family. How do you juggle that as a woman of God and a family and a woman who's in business? Because we hear that a woman should be home, should be doing this. And I love that what you just said, that we have, you know, we are empowered. You know, so how do you juggle that as Nomzam, like the three? Because obviously it's not like you are this woman and this woman, you are this woman. No, you are their woman is one. Yes.
I think balance which is still a thing that I haven't got it. I'm not gonna say I've gotten it perfectly, but I think there always has to be balance, because I feel like for me, you can't, like, it's always like you can't give from an empty cup. What is that saying? I forgot. You can't.
I like using it as well. I actually used it yesterday. Somebody was advising me on something, and I said, no, you're right, because you can't pour out.
Pour out from an empty cup.
So
for me, that's like the basis of that's just it. Like, you can't pour out from an empty cup. And when that starts with, where am I getting what feeds me?
Love that.
So the foundation will always be the church. That's the family. That's what gives into me to be able to then go out into the world and be the best that I can be, because I am filled. And I'm not even filled in a way, you know, that is just like worldly. My spirit is full. You know, my mind is full of the truth. So even if I move in the world, I move in a certain way. So that kind of then is the catalyst of how I move in business, because I move in the knowledge of who I am, and then it then enables me to do well in the workspace, and how I interact in my interactions in the workspace, because you move as a different kind of person. So even in how I interact, even with clients, with colleagues, it's a different way. So those relationships then are also they benefit from how filled I am. And then my family life is also it's also filled by that. But I think for me, a balance, I try to balance everything. I'm at work Monday to Friday, so that's unfortunately where I have to be, not unfortunately, but where I have to be, in the sense that then family life, my family is in KZN, so I see them when I see them, but I live at home alone, so it's that space of going home and then during the weekends and interacting with my church family. Wow. So that's just the balance that I try to strike in everything.
I enjoy how you keep coming back to where what basically what's feeding you.
Yeah.
Because when you pour out from what you are feeding on.
Yeah.
And I think, especially as women, we have to really be careful what we're feeding on. You are a single woman, you're not married yet, I'm not married. Most of the time, we get fed this thing that you should get married. Like right now, you're an attorney. Why are you not married? Why don't you have children?
Oh.
What are you waiting for? All these things. And we want to feed on that. Like, it's a societal thing.
It's
like,
a societal thing,
it's like, okay, you have to be in
a certain way,
because you have reached this age or you have made it. Look at you, you are an attorney. Why are you still single? You must have a problem, you know.
And it's like, why don't you have kids? And it's like, okay, then there's something wrong with you. And I think the weird thing is when people ask you, like when you say you don't have kids, and then it's like, why? I'm like, why is that even a question?
Exactly.
It's weird. Like, it's weird when people are like, but why don't you have kids? I'm like, no, but it's a decision that, I have made. And at the moment, it's not part of my plans. When it happens, when God works it out and it happens, or it happened. But for now, I'm happy with how things are right now.
I love that you are talking. I'm thinking, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. So that's it right there.
So
I'm laughing because 4 years back, I was asked by my aunt. She said, just have a child, I'll take care of her. I was thinking, I can't even. At that time, I'm thinking, I'm trying to make sure that I put food on my table. Rent has to be paid, all this, and you want me to add another KK, another sort of like KK, like the pressure, the carrying, and all that. So as you're talking, I'm thinking, because those are the questions that we get asked. Like, we are expected to be somewhere by the society. But I love how you keep going back to the foundation. What are you feeding on?
What are you feeding on?
Yes, and it's important as women.
Yeah, because you can literally get lost. You can get lost. Life has so many pressures. There's so many expectations expected, not only from just families, but from just from society and life expects so much from you. So I think you could get lost as a woman if you don't know who you are and who you are grounded in, because society will tell you need to be a certain way. And if you don't know who you are, you're going to succumb to the pressures and to thinking, what's okay, as a woman, I'm supposed to be like this. I'm supposed to either be thin, I'm supposed to be this pretty, I'm supposed to. So if you don't know who you are, and if you don't believe that God loves you and who God says you are, then you know pressures come and you will be taken out like a
the wind comes, blows you gone with the wind.
Yeah. So I think it's very important to have something that you believe in, because it says if you don't believe in anything, then you'll fall for for anything. So you have to have something that you believe in and something that keeps you grounded, because otherwise pressures come, you will be going with swaying left and swaying right, and so that's it's important.
I have a question. No.
I'm like, woo!
no, it's this one, like I don't know, like most of my viewers so far have been young people. I know the other people, the young women as well, have viewed, or other people have viewed since we started with the Who Am I as a woman conversation. But we started with the young people when we started recording. So as an attorney, you sitting here and a young person is thinking, well, that's easy for you to say, you're an attorney. So what advice would you give to young people, especially young girls that are looking like right now, that are watching and they're thinking, yes, I'm a Christian, but things are not happening for me. It's easy for you to say because you have a job, you're an attorney. You're not just waking, you're an attorney, because those are the things that we are thinking. What would you say?
I always say, like, yes, I am an attorney now and I am where I am now, but everything starts off somewhere. Nobody just wakes up and boom, you are an attorney. So I think even where I am right now, it doesn't mean that I don't have my own trials and tribulations. But I think in the sense of speaking to a young person who's looking, I would say that the important thing is that, for me, look at somebody else and just see it is possible. It is possible to be blessed and to get to where you need to be, because this is not an easy journey. It's not like my journey getting here was smooth sailing. So I think it's the thing of also having the dreams that you have, of pursuing them and of pursuing them diligently. And I think for me, it was always like, during the time that I was in varsity and I was studying, I was very big. My relationship with God was, we were very tight. That was actually when I maybe even drew closer to God, when I was studying in varsity. So I think the other years, maybe I might have been on and off, but in my varsity years is when some friend of mine preached the gospel to me, and I was like, yeah, this sounds good to me. So I think that sustained me through my studying years, in the sense of even when I would fail as well. I was failing modules.
Sure. Some of us don't want to believe, because now today she says she's
I was failing modules. Yes. I was depressed at some point, thinking, when am I gonna finish this degree? So it wasn't an easy journey, but I think at the end, when I was done, I was like, oh, God has been good, you know. So I think for me, it's just sticking it out and just having a vision of where you want to go and working diligently, because I think we take it for granted that we can just like, I want to be whatever, but you need to put in the work ultimately. So so I would say, like, work hard, work smart, and then just keep pushing, and just know that we have all gone through these things. For me, I'm like, nothing's new under the sun. Nothing's new under the sun.
Yes.
So you have to understand that every, even though our journeys are different, but we all have, the pathway is always, it's never straight, it's crooked, and but we get there. We get there. So I think just believe in yourself, trust in what you want to do, and push and strive to get it. And even when things come that maybe deter you, it's not giving up. For me, my main thing is I'm resilient. I know that about myself. I'm very resilient. That's like a quality of mine where I'm like, you know, no matter what, I'm going to make it, you know. So I always have that just never give up mentality. It's not easy. Like so there's times where you could find me on the floor like, God, no, I can't go on.
Wow.
Like, and then find that, you know, I'm like, but if I don't go on, then what else?
How will you get to the next step?
Yeah.
So
am I
somebody must
gonna
come
just,
and I love what you mentioned, like working hard, but you mentioned again working smart.
Smart, yeah. You need to be
do you mind?
diligent,
Yes. Do you mind just
I think,
for people that don't understand, what do you mean working hard and working smart? Like,
okay. So working hard is probably just putting in the work. Working smart is being diligent and being what is this word? Now I can't even, like, being just knowing how to get there in a way that is, you know, like sometimes you'd feel like you need to, you know, study, like study hard, study all night, in order to achieve results. But working smart would be like, okay, let me see what's gonna work, because what works for somebody else might not work for me. So what is a best way for me to progress in anything, and a way that suits who I am? Because for me, I'm not a person who necessarily how I absorb information is not the same as somebody else. So I need to find out what is my way of absorbing this information which works for me, and then employing the tools that will enable me to be the best version of myself. So it's not always the tried and tested will work for you. So you need to find out what is the best thing for you that will work for you, and not just do what everybody else is doing. So that's working smart.
I really like that, because we try to fit in one box, in one shoe, one box.
If somebody's doing this, I want to do it as well.
You know, because she studies like this, I should study like this. Because she wakes up at 12 to study, I must also wake up at 12.
And you get there and you're sitting there at 12. She's absorbing, you're just like, oh, I want to sleep. So you need to employ things that work for you. You need to be, and you need to take the responsibility of finding out, okay, how am I going to get her to the next, if I want to get to this next goal, how am I going to employ, what tools or things am I going to employ to get to the next level? Yeah, so you need to also just be that person. Creativity is very important. Yeah.
So with all that, everything that you said, so when does it come to a point where you are thinking, okay, KK or Nomzamo, you need help from outside? KK, now it's time. You've tried this, you know, like we were looking at the tools and everything. Okay, maybe this can work, maybe that can work, and you realize I'm still not figuring this thing out. When do you get to say, or how do you get to say, okay, KK, reach out to Nomzamo, you know, without feeling the shame, without feeling like a failure? Yes, there is fails as you are working, but you are not a failure because you are still continuing. You know, so yeah,
I think the honest truth is that we usually always wait till till it's a critical, you know, you can see that something's not working, but we always wait till things are about to fall apart, or where you're on the brink of just like that's when. So I think for me, one in life you are able to realize, I'm struggling. Now I need to ask KK, I see that you do things this way. I want to know how do you do that, and can I learn from you in that regard? So I think in your life you always know people around you who have different strengths. I know that KK is a good advisor. I know that Swanbani is good at this. I know that Swanbani is good at this. So if I know now I'm struggling in a certain field or a certain whatever thing I'm struggling with, then I know that actually I know KK is actually good at this. So let me approach her and ask her, KK, how do you handle this situation, or how do you deal with it? So I think we do have people around us who we can approach, and we know who they are. So it's just the intelligence to be like, okay, Lana, maybe I'm not good at this. Maybe I'm not good at writing. Maybe I'm not good at this, you know, and then asking for help, you know, that's it. And then see this, but you know who the people are around you.
Yes, yeah.
If you don't, then you need to learn. You need to learn who the people are around you who can provide that help.
That is so true.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that we are in the office with young people. Sometimes I want to press something and it's not clicking.
Hey,
the mouse is refusing.
technology, yeah.
The mouse is refusing, and then the person comes, touches it once, and you're like, how come I've been all this time? They just come and they press once, and it's done.
Yeah.
And we do that, especially I'm going to look at us as women. We do that as women. We want to fight the mouse. We want to open the mouse. We want to look at...
And you're making it worse. You make the situation worse because now you're breaking.
You break.
And yeah, we do that. No, we do.
We do that. Or else you can just... yes.
I know you can, because you know.
You do,
like,
you do with this.
Even when we are struggling with something, you know, there's women like around you, even in the church. Like, I think sometimes we even don't want to go to the church and be like, this is a struggle, because you have this thing, you want to say, if I'm at church, I'm there to worship, I'm there to, you know, yes, I'm to fellowship. But as soon as there's a problem, you're like, am I going to go to someone at church and be like, this is a problem? Then you want to employ your own means of trying to resolve. But sometimes the church is the last place where you're like, actually, there's people who are counselors there's people who can give guidance. But you know, so I think it's also the thing of just like, you know where your sources are, but you just don't, sometimes you don't want to, you want to do your own thing and go the long way. And then when it's broken, then you're like,
I need to go see the pastor now.
I need to go see the pastor. And you're on the way, then you knew on the way. Then you're like, now I'm in trouble.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, so I think, we always wait till the last minute.
While we are on that topic, as single women, let's touch there.
Okay.
Yes, we are single women, and we don't reach out for help like before time.
It's the thing of we need to be strong. It's this thing I think women are getting so annoyed with this whole thing. Strong. I'm a strong woman. Like, because yes, we are strong, but you know, it's I think society then is now making us like this unbreakable, these and you know. So for me, it's always like then we succumb to the pressure of no, you have to be strong, you have to be a fighter, you have to be, you know, you have to be everything. And then it's like it's a thing of when you're struggling, then it's like you can't. You're like, no, but I'm expected to be this mbogodo, this you know, unshakable thing. And as soon as you need help, then you're like, no, but how's everyone gonna view that? You know, now I'm gonna be like, I'm looking for help, and I'm the strong, independent woman. I should never need anyone or need help. So I think it's a very sad thing right now. So I think be strong, but also be a woman. Women, you know, we are made. We're the apple of God's eye. We're made in His image, but we are the more fairer and more sensitive counterparts of our males. So we shouldn't always be trying to push the whole, you know, thing.
I'm tough. I can do this. I'm independent.
And independent. We like that. We are independent. The independence.
As children of God, though, the question would be independent from who? Or from, because you are a child of God. When you say you are independent, that's a slap on God's face. Because you are saying, I don't need you, God. We don't realize that that's what we are saying. And I understand that, yes, we have to be independent. We have to take care of certain things. We have to be responsible. We have to be accountable to certain things. Like, you are working. There's things that are expected of you, and there's things that only you you know, it's like when they need something, they know you have to get that job done in that space or whatever. Yes, you are independent, like isn't like you don't come to KK to
say,
ask for
can I
ask for help for this and this. But in as much as you are independent in that area,
but not from God.
Not from God. Not from God as children of God.
We can't be.
We really cannot be. I want to dive into law, but I'm very careful with that as well, because you know the Bible says, like, for example, we are not we are not of the law anymore. We are under grace. So most of the time we try to take law and we throw it out of the window. But we need the law, or else right
Society,
now the
run.
taxis are like everywhere. If you're a taxi driver, I love you, ne? We are like everywhere. If there was no law,
it would be lawlessness.
Such lawlessness.
Chaos. It
So
would be chaos.
like as a Christian who's like in the field of law, and then how do you talk about law now, like as a child of God, yes, who's under grace, and then talk about law? Because people will say I'm not under law, but they misuse that part of I'm not under law, I'm under grace. I've heard it so many times. Like it's a freedom, a license to live carelessly as much as we want. So now I'd like for you to talk to us as children of God who are under grace, but not but to the sentence. I must be careful because the but erases.
It erases the grace.
Grace is
Yeah,
grace.
grace is
Who
grace.
are now? But we have. But there's law. Understand in the country.
Sure. I think in everything we need to know that there's always an order, as we know that God is a God of divine order, and that divine order will always infiltrate into how society needs to be run. There needs to be an order even in society. So the order in society is brought by there being laws, because obviously if there's no laws, then there wouldn't be order in society. So we need to understand that as children of God, yes, we operate under the divine order of God, but while we are still also on this earth, there's also a divine order that is here, or not a divine order, but an order that needs to be established in order for the world to function, and that order is brought by the law. So we all have to do or act in accordance to the law. It's our responsibility to actually act in accordance to the law. So there's the things of the Bible says, do not kill, do not murder. So the law is there to make sure, if UKK then kills Unomzamo the next day, then UKK has to be brought to book. Because if we just let everyone freely roam and just be killing each other, and there's nobody to say, hey, this is wrong. So every wrong action, the law holds every wrong action accountable. And I know that people will be like, no, not everybody who does wrong is held accountable. Yes. The law sometimes, there are some, flaws where, people are not brought to book. But ultimately, would you prefer a society where there's no law, a society where there is law? Otherwise, we all would be living in our houses with bolts and in basements because we couldn't go out. We couldn't go out.
The chaos. I mean, there is law as
and
it is,
there's
but
chaos
there is
still.
chaos.
Can you imagine if there was so the law is very important and it's needed because it's aimed to protect. And I know that people will also raise goods, but it doesn't protect all the time. But just imagine if it wasn't there in the first instance.
I love that.
So so it's the law as children of God. We need to understand that it is there to create order, and we have a responsibility as well to be part of a system where we don't commit the things that we're not supposed to do in the world as we are living, because we are living in the world, so we have to participate in the world.
Yes. As you're talking, I'm thinking how full the Bible is, because you're saying we are not in the world, but we are living in the world. There is a verse in the Bible. We are not of this world, the world. We live in it, but we are not of it. And do you realize that we really have taken so much from the Bible, and we think we have created even so many codes. Have you seen so many codes that we actually use? There are actually codes that are from the Bible, and with just a bit of twists, because I don't want people to think that I took from the Bible. I didn't take from the Bible. I don't read the Bible, but I'm enjoying this topic so much because there's a young lady who studied arts, but who studied law as well. So I don't know how to help her in this scenario. I don't know how law functions, but because you are sitting here, I think it would be great for me to not let this opportunity go, because there may be many other ladies like her, studied law and then via UNISA and is struggling. I don't know how to help her. I don't know what she's struggling in. I can never even begin to understand. But you mentioned working hard and working diligently. But those are ways that I can say to her. But at the same time, like as a person who studied law, who had, like you were saying, you mentioned that you failed as well. These courses, that modules that you failed. What would be your encouragement to such young people? I love young people, by the way. You see, I got you.
No, I think for me, I also studied at UNISA.
Yeah.
So part of my studies was that I had studied at an institution, but the latter part of my studies, then I was studying at home. So
at home, as in like
at home, like home. Like I would study for myself. So the last 2 years of my degree was me doing it by myself. It can be done.
Yeah.
I did it. You just have to do it. Like, I think for me, I would have times where I'm like, okay, in a day, when am I gonna now read my study material, and when am I going to, practice what I need to practice? But there would need to be your own responsibility. So for me, there's no like tip to say, go see, this is a quick fix. But just doing the work and not, as I said, for me, there was times when I wanted to give up. There were times when I was like, I can't, I know I ain't getting, it's taking forever. Like I'm struggling. But then obviously you do have tutors that you can, at the varsity that you can approach, and you do have other students. There is a community as well, usually in varsities, where you can actually go to them and say, well, see, maybe I'm struggling with this module. And then get assistance there. But ultimately, you have to put in the work. There's no easy way. Unfortunately, there's no easy way. Studying, guys, is just it is what it is. You have to put in the effort. You have to work hard. There's nobody's gonna give you a degree if you haven't put in the work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I love how calm you are. Every time you are talking, my meeting you, but they're outside, and now you see even the laughter.
There's no
You're like
fix.
such a calm. Are you always this calm? Like, are you a calm person? Like,
am I don't know. Yeah. I would like to think so. But I don't know what other people might say about me. They were like, yeah.
Oh, okay. No, it's so lovely, and it's so lovely to have you here and to have this conversation. I want you to go on and on this phrase right here. Who am I as a woman? I know we touched every other thing, but if you were to summarize a person coming to you and saying, Nomzam, who are you as a woman? I know, yes, who are you? But who are you?
Oh, Lord.
It's okay. As a woman.
Who am I as a woman? So I think for me, I would love to be very influential. And when I say influential, I'm not saying in the sense of something like out of the ordinary, but as a woman, as who I am as a woman, for me, I love to have an impact on people's lives. And that impact that I want to have on people's lives is somebody leaving me at all times, or interacting with me at all times, and leaving feeling better. So for me as a woman, I always, if I'm in society, I want to be a woman of substance. I want to be a woman who makes a difference, even if it's like, because I think we always think as people that the difference that we're supposed to make is, I need to be like Nelson Mandela for the world to be like, oh, Nomzamo made a difference. That's what people view making a difference as, what it needs to be on such a large scale, not understanding that making a difference and going into the world with that knowledge, will say I want to, when I am around people, when I'm in the workspace, when I'm in my family, I want to be that person that people can be like, you know what, she's such a person of substance.
Yeah.
She's such a person who can pour in. So me as a woman, I always want to pour into people. That's who I want to be, a person who pours into people and a person who makes a difference in people's lives, even if it's like one person, you know, 10 people, 5 people. It doesn't have to be a big scale, but that's, as a woman, that's what I want to do. In whatever space I'm in, I want to be in a space where I can have impact.
I love that.
Yeah.
A woman of substance.
A woman of substance.
With impact.
Yeah.
And it goes to what you were saying, like being that cup that overflows, that pours out. That pours out. I really love that. I'm right next to her, guys. So I am going to make sure that every week I'm poured into. I don't know if I'm being selfish, but I'll make sure I pour out. But I'm going to make sure that I'm poured in. I love how you just balance like your field of work and who you are in Christ and who you are just as a woman of substance. What do you call it? The marriage between the way they come together. Like I really just enjoy that. I enjoy how chilled you are. I don't even know how to say. That's what I'm asking. I enjoy how chilled you are. Like you are very relaxed. You bring in a very relaxed
energy. That's great.
Energy.
Thank you.
Yes, I just want to sit, I'm just left to sitting like this. and just enjoying. So I really enjoy that. Thank you so much for being here. I have so many questions, but I'm thinking I shouldn't. I'm going to hold myself because I want to ask so many questions. What would you say, like in your last words to our audience? Whether it's the young people, you can start with the young people. Whether it's the women, yes. What would your last words be based on this conversation that we just had today? But don't say it to me, please say it.
Okay. What I would like to say, like share with everyone, is that, you know what, we're all on our own different journeys, and it's important that in life you focus on your journey and not always look around to see that this is somebody else's journey, this is Nomzama's journey, and it's different from mine. So for me, it's important as women to focus on the journey that we are walking, and in walking in that journey, you know, God is, you know, a constant person if we need help. So it's very important that we understand that we always have God to call on, to go to, and always have like a very close-knit circle of support as a woman and as a child of God, because, you know, life is not easy, guys. Like life, you can look at a person and think that this person's life is perfect, but life is not easy. So have a good support structure, have good people around you, and just focus on your own journey and keep pushing and don't give up. Don't give up.
Don't give up. I've just added her on my good support structure. I'm saying it here. I'm holding you accountable by putting you on camera. I've just added her on that list. So thank you so much. I love your advice. I love your genuine, like, calm advices. And I just enjoy you, like, right now. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for saying yes.
Thank you.
I know you have a busy schedule, but thank you for saying yes.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being a human being. I need to say this. I know I might get some negative or insults, but thank you for being a human being. I think for me, I'm saying this is a representation of a woman who's an attorney, who's
just normal like everyone else.
You're a human being. You're normal like everyone else.
People start thinking you're just like, we're all women at the end of the day, and we're all human at the end of the day, definitely.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Babu Khedi, I hope that you enjoyed that conversation because I did. Once again, Namzamo, thank you for being here, for embracing me with your warm self.
Thank you.
Yes, it was such a lovely conversation. If you'd like to ask her questions, please comment and ask questions. I'll make sure that I deliver the questions. But she will answer as well. And then if you want to get a hold of her, go to the comments and ask questions. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to ask for a circle that will support you. Really feel free. If you are young and you are watching this, she's here. Every audience that I have here, they are here for you. So reach out on the comments. They're available for you. We just can't put that information out there for the sake of, but please reach out, and then you will be able to have a conversation with them some way or another. We will create that platform. And if you are a woman, you heard, be a woman. Enjoy being a woman. Whether you are working, you are a mother, you are not independent from God. So enjoy just being depending on God. And you heard about law. It is needed, or else this chaotic world would be chaotic even more. So please tune in on our next episode, and I might not be here for some time. I'm going to say this live, so if you don't see any posts, please don't be upset. I will be back with some hot shots. Once more again, this is Kakanyo Pilane, and I'm sitting here with Nomzamo, the lovely Nomzamo. Till we meet again, I would like to say this on this episode. Oxano 7, thank you for making this recording possible. From me, once again, Babu Khedi, Bareti, and say goodbye.